Welcome to the Safe Space Running Podcast. We're here to encourage, empower, and enable all fitness levels. Needless to say, I am so excited to have my friend. I call her a superstar. She's so humble. She would never call herself that, but she is truly a superstar in every right. We have Shannon today as our guest in coaching. Shannon, how have you been?
Good, Chris. I'm so honored to be on your podcast.
I,
You are
I'm, I'm
also a superstar.
I'm just trying to be like you out here in these streets. That's all. No, I first have to first and foremost congratulate you. I know that you, for those who are watching, Shannon is also the 2025 Columbus Marathon female overall winner. So
Thank
congrats to you.
you.
I think I told you over on Instagram, but formally, congratulations on that. That's huge.
It
It
was
shows
so
how
cool.
much work.
Yeah, it was such a cool experience. Yeah, and I think I said in like a recap, but it was so different from the first time I ran it when I met you. Um,
Mhm.
we bonded over like roasting chicken, I think, or something like that. Um, but it was so cool, and it was such a different experience than the other time I
Mhm.
ran it. I think Ohio weather is known for that,
Yeah.
but very fun.
Yeah,
So
y'all went through the ringer for that marathon. That
we
was
really,
it rained, it got cold, but I feel like anyone who's ran that marathon can do any marathon at this point in time. So
I
I
believe
again kudos to that. But you are also a coach as well.
yes.
So the first question I have for you is, what is your why for coaching? What got you into coaching, and what is your motivation behind it?
Yeah. So, like, firstly, I think when people ask that, I always think of my mom because she coached. She still coaches, and she was an incredible runner, a marathoner as well. And I don't know, I always want to be like my mom. And
Oh,
yeah, and she's just an amazing person. So she kind of, started it. I've had, a sister also coach, and it's kind of in the family. But personally, like my why for why I would do it even without the influence is I think I'm good at it, and I'm passionate about it, and I find the joy in I've been running for 2.5 decades, and finding the joy in sharing that, and kind of contributing in that way, I guess. It's made it a dream job. I would
yeah.
say it kind of lined up for me where it's like, oh, of course, this is what I should be doing. So,
Mm.
yeah, if that answers it.
It does. That does. I like that a lot. I didn't know your mom was a runner. So see, you learn
Yeah,
something new every day. That's awesome. And two
yeah.
decades of running is a lot of running, to say the least.
Yes, my poor knees. Yeah.
We got them 99, 2000 knees going.
I
Oh
know,
my God.
right?
Whoo.
Exactly.
No, that is an understatement. But I think that leads perfectly into today's topic, was really about there is something that, a lot of coaches have to kind of instill into their athletes, and that will be discipline. And I'm always one to, it's a lead by example kind of thing. And you are at a level where, you've have established a discipline through both good and bad. I remember last year as well. You've had different injuries and such, but you still had a discipline to you, and it shows. And even like I said, with the recent victory out in Columbus here, it really shows how much work that you've put in. And my question to you is, how does discipline really get incorporated into your coaching for your athletes, and how do you incorporate that into their planning, how you consult with them, things of that nature?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So, uh, yeah, it's like there's this balance that you want to have with an athlete when you meet them and you find their goals out and their past history. Where, as a coach, I feel like one of the most important jobs that I have is to kind of spur that motivation, and especially beginners. I'm sure, as you know, as a new coach, kind of starting out, it's scary because you don't
Mm,
know what you're doing, and a coach is a great resource. I think it's why coaches have jobs, is you can kind of like steer them from both pushing too hard or not pushing hard enough. And the goal is to kind of ride that line so they don't get injured and also
mm,
don't burn out. And discipline throughout that is like, I think there's an intrinsic part of that that each person has that you kind of try to find what their why is. Exactly why you asked me why I coach. I
Hmm.
think that's so important to kind of like have as their overarching story of like, okay, why do you want to do this? What's the goal for you? Is it just to get faster? Is it to find, those meaningful connections with people? And then how can I help you get there?
Mm.
And then usually, if you kind of like spur that why in someone's brain, they can definitely, I think it's like they have to find the motivation. It's not on the coach completely. I think I can hold their hand for the first part and be like, this is what we're doing. This is the goal. This is, the structure of it. But
Yeah.
to get out the door, I think a huge part of being a coach and finding that discipline in an athlete is just asking them those questions to begin with and checking in and making sure that, you're keeping that open communication with them. Yeah.
I like that. I like that you pointed out having the athlete find their why. I think that speaks into a huge factor of where their motivation would lie and how they will tackle that motivation. I do like the perspective of, hand holding to an extent, but I think with all of us being adults in this as well, whether we're now kids and, high school, I mean, middle school makes a little bit more sense, but us as adults,
Yes.
we have a lot more free will, for better or for worse. But
Yes.
I I like that you really brought out their why as a good motivation for them to really push and proceed for that. So I think that's a really good point to that.
And I do think it's like, I say that hand holding and that gets a bad rep, but I think like
Hmm.
you can't, limit encouragement as a coach. That's different. You can
Yeah.
encourage so much, and that's huge for someone to hear, to have someone in their corner, while they're going through it in the tough weeks, right? But there is this difference of, yeah, exactly. Like if they can't find it within themselves, they're not going to find it in a coach either. So it's
Mm.
important to like really understand it, right?
That part right there makes a lot of sense. I like that part there. I think it's I know personally speaking, even for my wife for coaching, I haven't really talked about it much. It's just making sure that we enable those who just don't have, they may not know the know-how, and giving them, I like that you made the separation between, the hand holding and encouragement, because they are two distinct things. They sometimes can go and be mixed into the same pot, but they are two separate things. And the fact that when we are establishing, a discipline with our athletes and getting them into the routine of putting in the boring miles, so to speak, the miles that are necessary for their base, it sucks. I mean, I went for a run yesterday, and it was just trash. So, but having that
Yeah.
encouragement from your coach, like, hey, great job slogging it out. Most importantly, great job showing up, says a
Yes.
lot in keeping them
Oh,
into
huge.
that discipline. Yeah.
Yes, and I like that you said that about your run yesterday, and I feel like it's true. Like professional runners go through the blues, and
Hmm.
it's nobody's immune to it. And yeah, it's kind of like that cool thing of like we're all in the same boat with it. So I feel
That.
like I commiserate with my athletes a lot. I'm just like, I know, like it's hard. Like especially like weather and other and
Hmm.
injuries. Like it is hard. It is but you know what? It makes it worth it, right? As cheesy as that sounds. So I like that because it's like you can celebrate the lows and the highs with your
Yeah.
runners.
I,
Yeah.
I like that. That's what's really beneficial about being a running coach for those who are running and walking, because 9 times out of 10, we're out there suffering with them. Really,
Yeah.
we're often training for something
Yeah.
as we are training them. So that parallel is perfect, which I think is a good leadway into the last question I have for you would be, what is one piece of advice you would give for either those who are entering into the coaching space or those who are looking to provide advice in terms of running and walking? I find myself coming across a lot of people who are willing to provide advice or give their 2 cents, which is great. I completely am on forward for that. And those who are really like, hey, I may be considering to become a full-time coach. What would be one thing that you've learned that you would pass off to them to take into consideration?
Yeah, that's great. yeah, probably my biggest thing is as a coach, I can provide the structure, I can do all the work behind the scenes of trying to do a perfect build. But unless I'm communicating with my athlete, they're in their body, right? So, like, it doesn't have to be daily, but I have to do a weekly check in with people to see because things change, even
Hmm.
like emotionally. And I think it's so good to be on the same page, especially with beginners, because there's this like hump they have to get over. Of it kind of sucks for the
Yeah.
first. Sorry. But once you're past it, it's great, right? Of once you're in the
Yeah.
good part of training. And it still plateaus at times, but it's like, it's so important to connect with your athletes on that level of like, tell me the good, the bad, the ugly of what's going on. That way, I adjust weekly. I feel like I'm kind of
Hmm.
controversially against like one size fits all plans. I know people do
Yeah.
that, and that's okay. If it works for you, great. But I really feel like I believe in the individual plan because everyone's different and everyone has a different schedule. So that'd be my biggest advice is like communicate more than you think, because that'll be your biggest tool.
I like that. I like that. That's been, I feel like as I've started with the athletes that I have, that communication helps really establish how that relationship, because essentially it becomes, that's just all of our relationships, whether it be friendship, the coaching to athlete relation, dynamic, that's all relationships that need time to nurture and understand. And I really like that, that's an approach that's it's a really good one in my personal opinion. I think it helps
Hey,
adjust for life. So
yeah.
I fully agree with that for sure.
And I like am biased of like I want to be friends with my athletes. Like
Yeah.
I want to be their buddy too. So I'm like,
Right.
let's chat, let's talk.
Right.
Yeah. So
We're all for more I think that's just how our hearts are. Naturally speaking,
yes,
just friendship is always a good thing. So
yes.
I really appreciate that and your time, Shannon. For those who have, please follow her. She also has, again, Shannon Smith Coaching. She has an Instagram and will be linked to, or we'll figure out a way to link it in here. I don't know how, but we're going to figure it out.
No
But
worries.
honestly,
You'll find
she
me.
is, even in, like I said, she's on social media under Instagram. Give her a follow. Again, if you're looking to be inspired, if you're looking to be, to feel like you can do it, you can look at Shannon's story and see what she's came through and all that she's accomplished with a smile on her face. So, Shannon, I always appreciate talking to you. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate the athletes that you coach, and I appreciate the heart that you have for the sport. So, thank you so much for your contributions to the running and walking community. And again, congratulations to your success and to more success for you and your athletes involved.
Thank you, Chris, and back at you. You
Oh,
also
thank you.
huge inspiration, and I just love following all your content. So and Rose's content as well.
I
So you
I
guys
know,
are
right?
well.
Rose adores you, so I'm
Yeah.
sure she'll be. I'm gonna have to pull her up here in a second. But
Oh, I
again,
want to see her.
thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris.